Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome to today's message, and always grateful to see who joins me on these messages. So as you are joining, please do drop me some comments. Let me know where in the world you are tuning in from and join in today's conversation. And definitely do so still if you are listening to the recording. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic. And today I feel is a really pivotal one. That basically underlines all of our decisions, our view of the world, so many different things, all right? We're talking all things shame versus guilt. We're talking about whether we're living in our own values or we're living in the values of others. And it's a really important question to ask yourself. And on face value, it doesn't always seem as though you're definitely living in your own. So that's why it's super, super important to definitely check in with yourself on this topic. And today, I want to talk about how easily we mistake shame and guilt. We kind of believe that they are the same thing, or we talk about them interchangeably, and that's not actually what's true. And I want to talk to you guys about ultimately why that even matters, why it matters that we get what shame really is and what guilt really is, in the right buckets. And I'm not very good at multitasking, so I'm just going to give up on that for a bit. Talking with you guys on today's topic. So saying a quick hello to everybody who's joined me. I will jump in the comments as I do as per usual, and definitely check in with you guys after I just talk into this concept that is not a new one when we talk about shame and guilt, but I wanted to talk about it because it's a good reminder in my own life right now. And so therefore I'm hoping that in our community it's good for you guys as well. And you can just use today's message as a trigger point to go deeper in your own awareness as to why you do what you do and if it's working for you. All right, so let me give you a little bit of a background story. So recently I have been joining in some 12-step program groups, and basically it's been really interesting for me. It's a very different take on some ways of developing ourselves, and because of some circumstances that occurred in my life this year that were incredibly challenging, that I will share with you at a later date when I'm more so worked through some of those issues, and those challenges are still pretty raw for me right now. I'm still in the midst of it. But basically it's led me to come into some 12-step programs focused on codependence. Okay. And I'm not going to go into a deep dive of what codependence is right now, but basically looking at our relationships and our dependence on other people to fulfill us, as opposed to fulfilling for ourselves, right? We speak about that topic a lot. But anyway, this morning, what happened a couple of nights ago in one of these groups that I was a part of, the topic was on shame. Okay, and so everybody was kind of open-endedly sharing their experience with shame. And as I was sitting back and listening deeply to other people's experiences on this, I recognized and realized how disconnected I've been to my own sense of shame, to the point where I even questioned, do I even feel shame? And because of my own personal journey with denying the reality of my own emotions, and we're not going to go down the path of why that occurred, but in some upcoming messages I can talk into that, and I think it's very relatable. But through my own history of denying my own experience of so-called negative emotions, in particular for me, it was a deep sense of sadness and connected to a deep sense of terror and fear that I had basically suppressed and repressed from my childhood, which was preventing me from owning my true reality and experience and emotion as an adult. And I had to do some serious work that was very uncomfortable and, really depleting energetically for a period of time, to go into that sadness, to go into that terror, to own it, to integrate as an adult right now, and basically move through it. As I went through that process, I actually accessed a new height of joy that I'd never before experienced. And it goes with whatever we suppress as a negative emotion, it has an equal or mirror opposite, a polarity to that emotion. And if we suppress the negative, we end up suppressing the positive as well. And we end up in depression, we end up in apathy, we end up just kind of blah in life, right? Like feeling less numb. And so I know the power of leaning into the so-called negative emotions, or the things that we want to run away from my own experience. And I also know how good we are at denying the reality of the existence of those so-called negative emotions or states of being, right? And so as I was listening to all these other people sharing so openly and genuinely about their true experience with shame, and really owning that, and then witnessing myself in the in the receiving of that, and trying to search and find that same experience within myself, and feeling like, oh, I don't have any shame. Like my past self was like, oh, I don't have any sadness. Oh, I'm not really afraid, right? And recognizing that about myself, my share actually became about how I wasn't able to really find that sense of shame as I was hearing the stories, and how that was alerting me to the fact that I really need to focus in and go a bit deeper on this topic and see how I might be denying myself of the very human experience of shame in my own reality. Okay, and so I took it upon myself after that, and just this morning, so every morning I check in with myself. Every morning I connect with something bigger than myself. I connect in with the universe. I open myself up as a bit of a humble co-creator with the universe. Like, what am I here for? Like, how can I be, what am I here to, how am I here to evolve today? How am I here to be of service today? How am I here to be beyond my fears and love today, right? I connect in with that, and then I connect in with myself and how I'm really feeling in that moment, and what's going on for me, what's driving that. And as I dove into that this morning, what came out for me was around this topic of the difference between feeling shame and feeling guilt, and how we oftentimes conflate those two concepts. And so when we're talking about shame and guilt, think about it this way. It's all to do with whether or not you're living up to a set of values, right? Both with shame and both with guilt. But the difference is guilt is experienced when we're not living up to our own set of values. And shame is experienced when we notice that we're not living up to somebody else's values, right? Be that society's values, be that somebody that you've placed, your sense of higher power into's values, an intimate partner, your family, your friendship group, whatever, right? Like you've adopted some external source of values that actually aren't your own. And when you can't live up to them because they're not your values, and you're never going to be able to live up to anybody but yourselves values, right? You're not going to be inspired to, which is a sustainable fuel source. Basically, you're going to experience shame for not being perfect enough to live up to the so-called values of others, right? And that's a very different experience. It makes you feel as though there's something deeply wrong with you that you must hide, right? To feel ashamed because you're not good enough in the eyes of others, versus feeling a sense of guilt, which is actually derived from noticing that you did something, or you refrained from doing something that is in your values, right? And guilt is actually that something that can be used very powerfully. Okay, it can be used to help you to keep a gauge on whether or not you're living to your own values that are meaningful and important, and who you choose to be in this world. And feeling an experience of guilt can actually be quite adaptive and quite good for your growth. It can help you keep the finger on the pulse of what matters to you and how you want to show up in the world, so that you can be proud of the human being that you are. And it's a very compassionate way. You've got to attach compassion, right, to that sense of guilt in order for it to be something that grows you, right? And so noticing that difference, what I actually did was I was able to just kind of identify where in my life have I experienced shame versus experienced guilt, all right? And what I started to see was there was a pattern, and they were around the major areas of life. And what was coming up for me was around the area of marriage, was around the area of values in intimate partnership, around the values of successful career path, around the values of financial independence, and I think there was some other one that came up, around children as well. And, the key concepts that there's a pretty solid set of ideals in those areas in society as a whole, right? And you can even look at it, mainly from a Western culture, but a global kind of way of looking at it, right? And I started to look at these areas where you could be experiencing shame or guilt. And I broke each area down to what is my value in the area of marriage, for instance, or the area of successful career, or the area of financial independence, or all those key areas that were coming up for me as I look at my life and want to gauge whether I'm living to the values of others or I'm living to my own values. And so I started outlining my value in that area. And then what's their value? There as parents, there as partners, there as society as a whole, whatever. And basically I started to break it down and see the difference between, whether I could be living in my values versus their values. Because I don't believe that shame is something that has got a positive impact on us. It's actually very destructive. And so I first want to notice whether I'm experiencing shame or I'm experiencing guilt, right? Am I breaking my own values, or am I breaking this other set of values coming from some external source that I'm placing as a higher priority than my own values, right? And I want to live my own life, right? I want to feel empowered. I want to feel like I am co-creating and designing the life that inspires me, right? I don't want to be living to somebody else's values, right? Because all that leads me to is shame, is to, hiding away and believing that there's something inherently wrong with me because I can't live up to this perfection that's not aligned with me. I want to be really clear on what's my value and what's some external value. And I want to make sure that I'm aligning each of those areas of my life with what I value. And if I have to experience some guilt at some times, if I break some of those values, so be it. Okay, I'll use that to my advantage. I'll let a sense of guilt alert me to how I'm selling out on my own value in something that I'm doing or not doing, and I'll change that compassionately. I'll be grateful for the alert, the awareness of breaking my own value, and I'll get back on track, versus living to some external set of values that are not yours, that you're doing or living into so that you can get validated from the external world, and all the while never be able to live up to that state of so-called perfection, because it's not aligned with you and you don't have the fuel to do it. You don't have that inspiration. You're relying on motivation, right? Which means that you've got to rely on other people validating you on that journey in a set of values that aren't yours. And then you create a life that isn't aligned with who you actually are, and you wonder why you're not happy, right? I don't want to go down that path. I've lived that many years of my life. And in fact, I feel like We've all done that, because there comes a point in our growth journey where as children, yeah, we have to live up to the external values of our family. That's how we start to learn and grow and evolve. And maybe that shifts to the external values of our peers, our friendship circles. We're discovering ourselves. We're testing out our boundaries. We're working out who it is that we are in this world, right? And we've got to, at some point, depend on other people's set of values to discover that and go down and trial and fail and test it out and whatnot. But at the end of the day, there comes a point where we have to transition from dependence on other people's values to determine our course of life to becoming an adult who is got a clearly defined set of values and knows how to live in them, and doesn't buy into living somebody else's life to their expectations, leading us into shame spirals, right? And away from an authentic existence that truly fulfills us. All right. And so I'll share more of what's kind of stemmed up and come up for me that I feel could be helpful for you to get a gauge on checking in with your own set of values in those key areas in some upcoming messages. But I just wanted to share this message with you guys today so that you can get a bit of a check-in for yourself. Am I accessing a lot of guilt or shame? And how you know the difference, right, is they kind of feel kind of similar, right? You feel a bit bad about yourself, like you're like, oh, this isn't aligned, this doesn't feel right, I don't feel good about this action or inaction. But then you've got to get clear on, like, what is my value versus what is my perception of other people's values. Am I trying to live to other people's values, or is this me breaking my own value, and how do I go about rectifying that, right? So that is my message for you. I definitely want to check in with you guys and see who's been able to join me. I hope this has been a valuable message for you guys to check in with. I always love taking you guys on this journey of self-development, like every single day, right? Like checking in with yourself, honoring yourself every day, making sure that you're aligning with a life that you're fulfilled by, that you actually want, that is yours. It's not somebody else's. It's not living to some expectation from some other source. It's taking responsibility for how you live your life so you can maximize your potential, maximize your fulfillment, and all the while enjoy it, right? And so that's what this community is all about. I'm grateful that you guys are a part of it. If you're not currently a part of our private Facebook group, or you want a deeper way of going about rubbing shoulders with people who are really on an inspired journey that you can soak up the energy of and contribute to as well, then you can come into the Limitless Potential Academy. We run weekly workshops and groups, and we set intentions. We drop all our limitations. We surrender to a higher purpose. We learn new content every single month from incredible different souls who are doing extremely good things in the world that we want to soak up and learn from. So if that's something that inspires you, you can definitely come and be a part of that team as well. So just reach out to me. I'll give you the details. But let's check in. I've got Bill in the house, and Jacqueline and Javier. Happy 4th of July. Yes, to all my American amazing souls out there. Happy 4th of July to you. Hope you're having an amazing day. And Bill, you look like you're in a movie. Not today. I wish that'd be fun. That'd be fun. I'd love to do that. But I'll take that as a compliment. Thanks, Bill. And Daryl from Alberta, Canada. Good to have you as always, my friend. And thank you, Dennis. Appreciate your kind words and grateful that this message resonates. And thank you, Javier. And Ram's in the house. Good to have you back, my friend. And Judith and Dawn and Sushant and Kara, awesome. And Bill, awesome. I know when I returned to the energy realm, everything will be revealed to me about this human life. So I don't spend much time figuring everything out. It uses up too much time. I like to stay in my lanes of financial independence, fun, and relationship. I love that, Bill. You know, it's so important to have what we value our clarity around that. And you know, like one of my favorite mentors would say, Dr. Dean Martini, delegate the rest, right? Focus on what you value and delegate the rest, right? So for Bill, focusing on financial independence, fun, relationships, I love that, you know, and that's a life well lived to somebody with that value set, right? And also, I love what you're highlighting here as well, Bill, in terms of surrendering to the process, right? To something higher than just ourselves, being guided by that and not overthinking and overanalyzing and trying to sort it all out, but like actually trusting in something bigger than just ourselves guiding us. And I've got some interesting messages coming up about that as well that I want to share with you guys, which has been really transformational for me in my life, and I'm on the journey of it. So can't wait to share more of that, and love having you here. And thank you so much for sharing your experience here, Bill. You are so appreciated. And Simon's in the house. Good to see you, my friend. And Sue's here as well. And Dawn, I love this. Need to listen. Came in late. I definitely can relate. Sending love and love the hat. Oh, thank you, my friend. And I just ordered 2 online. Oh, I love it. Yeah, hats have become my thing at the moment. I've bought a few because it's freezing here in Melbourne at the moment, and hats keep you warm, and I kind of like them. So love that, Dawn. Good to have you back, and hope this message has served each and every one of you guys. And Dawn says, yes, I'm learning this now. Trust and surrender. Absolutely. And like I mentioned in the Limitless Potential Golden Circle, we are a group that meet every single week, and once a month we rotate through 4 different things each month. So one of the things that we do is we actually do allow all the negativity, all the limiting beliefs, all the ways we get in our own way come up to the surface, and we surrender it all over and we replace it, right, with stuff that we actually want. And so we do that every single month, right? We're setting positive intentions about what we want. We're co-creating, you know, with the universe, or however you want to get, but you know, it's about being in co-creation with things that inspire you, and tapping into that and living on purpose and living authentically. And we clear the channel every single month. We're also not only surrendering, we're setting those intentions, and then we have a mastermind where we all get to really share and contribute what's working for us, what's not working for us, get different perspectives from a multiple of different perspectives, right? From people who are doing different things, have different values, have different gifts that they have to contribute, and getting to really get that from an external viewpoint, so that you can then put it through your own internal compass and build the muscle of what feels right for you and get some direction with that. And also I run masterclasses once a month as well. So a brand new training every single month on, you know, what I'm personally finding most valuable from the work that's out there, and how to apply it to maximize your own potential and apply it to your life, and take some action steps and get inspired by new ways of thinking about the world. So if you would like to be part of the Golden Circle in the Limitless Potential Academy, you know, reach out to me. We can jump on a call and see if that'd be a good fit for you, because it's inspiring. All right, I have to move forward really quickly because I am in a short-term park and I want to get into a longer-term one. So bear with me for a second, because I just opened up for me. Oh, all right, hang on, one sec. Love it. Okay, sorry guys, you came on the road with me for a second there, but hope this message has been of value to you guys. Thank you so much for showing up, and I cannot wait to see you guys very, very soon, and do something inspiring. Check in with yourself about if you're experiencing shame or guilt. Remember, guilt is when you've broken one of your own values. allow that experience to get you back on track, and be grateful and compassionate that you're aware enough to discover that. And if it is shame that you're experiencing, remember that's because you're breaking some external person or set of rules or values from society as a whole or some other group. It's not you, right? Do you want to live your life or somebody else's? Do you want to live a life in shame and not feeling good enough and feeling like there's something wrong with you? Or do you want to feel like you are perfectly imperfect and you are living your life on your terms? You are making it how you want it, how it inspires you, right? And you're living purposefully. You feel guided by something bigger than just yourself, and you feel great about what you do and how you live, and you're proud of yourself, right? There's two vastly different paths, and you're in the driver's seat as to which one you choose. So I hope this message has served you, and I really look forward to connecting with you guys soon. And I will thank you, Daryl. Much love to each and every one of you guys, and can't wait to see you in an upcoming message. And DB's just joined. Please catch the recording and get a ton of value from today's message. Good to have you live. And Javier, grateful that you're loving this conversation. Thank you, my friend. Great to have you here. And Dawn, empowered. Let's go. You got it, girlfriend. I love it. So much love. See you guys soon.